we're finding a lot of problems and on the farming front. First off, getting up and down the road has become a nightmare with the traffic, and nobody likes tractors being on the road. So that's one problem we're really struggling with. A lot of farmers, especially young farmers, can't get started because of the price of land. We have priced ourselves out of the farming business land-wise. And a lot of the older folks, as they pass away or hand their land down to their children, instead of renting it to the farmers, they're selling it now, getting the money out of it, enjoying that money instead of renting to farmers. So a lot of farmers that rented do not have the ability to get land anymore. That's stability. That's why it's so good to own your own land. You know what you've got each year when you make those investments. We are having a lot of problems now with deer and wild hogs. They have become #1 nuisances. The deer and the hogs do me between $40,000 and $50,000 a year worth of damage on my crops. One of the farmers that comes out of Alabama down in Florida, a huge farmer, he replanted almost 800 acres of cotton last year, just what deer damage did. We've got a tremendous problem with deer. Wild hogs have come into the area, and they are a menace. They're multiplying so quickly that we're doing all we can to eliminate them, but we really need some help on doing something with the wild hogs, because they have become a very large nemesis to all of us. Markets are always a problem. 3 years ago, we were getting $7 a bushel for corn. We're getting $4 today. We were paying $500 a ton for fertilizer. Fertilizer went almost to $900 to $1,000 a ton. So your profit gap has really got close. But a farmer produces enough food for not only his family, but approximately 100 families now. That is on average. So that's what farming, we're about 1% of us are farming. You look at Walton County, like I said, there's 3 of us that are family farmers. Most of the farming is done by more corporate type farms coming out of Alabama now, is doing most of the farming in our area. Cattle production is something that we're doing that is really good right now. Cattle are very high in price, and the reason is they're very low numbers of cattle. They had a lot of them passed away. A lot of cattle were lost here in the cold and all, and cows are a very good price. A lot of the younger people that are trying to get in farming, they're doing with cattle, getting them a few cattle, and meat prices are going to soar. The cattle are so high they've got to soar, so you can be aware of that this next year. So it's going to be high. The equipment is just getting out of sight. I purchased a tractor 3 years ago. It was used, had 400 hours on it, had a front end loader on it, and paid $120,000 for the tractor. This year I wanted to buy another one just like it without a front end loader. Same amount of hours, it was $180,000. Went up $60,000 in 1 year. In 3 years, basically, that tractor had increased in value that much. And so it's just, farmers are really having a tough go right now, trying to figure out where they're going to go. Probably the biggest thing that really troubles me is the 3 of us that farm, families. Right now we don't have an heir that wants to farm. So we don't know what's going to happen to the farm. The young people are not going in that direction. Can't blame them. The economy the way it is, you never know what you're going to have tomorrow as far as price, and labor is impossible. We cannot get labor to do farm labor anymore. It's nobody wants to do that type of work, and you can't blame them. It's hot, it's hard sometimes, and also that is a real problem, labor anymore, getting someone to farm and all. And another problem is where we're at is to go to a dealer is 35 miles away to get a dealer, to any kind of equipment dealer. And that's for John Deere. If you do Case International, you're over 80 miles to go get, and there's not that many dealers. Used to we had Bungie Grain in Freeport. It's great. It's not that way anymore. All the local markets have shut down. We have to haul our soybeans all the way to Mobile, Alabama, and they go to the port, and they're shipped out of that port. So you're looking at 80 cents to $1 a bushel just to ship them over there. And they're shipped all over the world. They're put on barges and they go all over the world, those beans. We actually sell our beans and crops to brokers or dealers. Mine goes to Agrex out of Ohio. I actually deal with those folks. And you look at the Chicago Board of Trade, and you're priced off that Chicago Board of Trade. Now the bad thing is once you book that crop, you've got to make it. If you don't make that crop, and it's actually higher than what you booked at, then you've got to pay the difference in that booking. So if you have a disaster on the farm, and you book the crop that you don't make, and the price is higher, then you could get a double whammy in 1 year. It could put you under. Corn, all the corn goes north. The chicken plants. We go to Ozark, Alabama with corn. We go to Banks, and we go to Hope Hole. That's the 3 places my corn goes, and it's all chicken plants. So the chicken plants buy the corn. Now peanuts are a different story. We actually haul peanuts to mine go to Opp, Alabama, but there is a buying point in Florella, and we have contracts on those peanuts. If you want a contract, the wonderful thing about those contracts, as long as you carry them every peanut you make, then you're not obligated to the remaining. But peanuts is our #1 crop. They are our money maker. Cotton goes to Hartford, Alabama, most of it. Some of it goes to Climax, Georgia. That's where it goes to be ginned. Once it's ginned, it's made into bales, and then it goes to warehouses. And those warehouses, then it's sold out of those warehouses to wherever it goes. But again, you're basing your price off the Chicago Board of Trade. That's the problem. We have no bottom, to what we grow. Now, years ago, when my boys were young, we grew watermelons. Greatest experience of life for those 2 boys. They were young, but they learned business. They learned to deal with the public. They learned to handle money. And quite frankly, that was probably the best thing I ever did for those youngins, because they made money. They were able to pay for a lot of their college and buy them a new car each, but that was a local market, and I wish that we could, but again, it takes labor. I do not have that labor to do that. Vegetables are good money makers, but you've got to have labor, and it's seasonal. When it hits, you either make or lose in that few weeks. I mean, that's all you got. And you're taking such a risk every year. You're 1 year away from extinction. But we're diversified. We run about probably 6 different crops, or 6 different things. And we hope one of those is good each year, or 2 of them's good, or maybe 3 is good. And if the weather doesn't, if you have bad weather on corn, it only misses 1 week of rain and the corn's ruined for the year if you don't have irrigation. We grow peanuts, we grow soybeans, we grow corn. That's those 3 during the summer. We grow oats, and we grow triticale during the winter. Oats and triticale we sell for seed. I love what I do. Farming is not a job, it's a way of life. I don't know anything else, and I'm a workaholic. So I work. It's just such a challenge to plant that seed, fight all the elements, and win. If you win, now you can lose a lot of time, but it's just such a challenge to fight that battle and win. It's just amazing now. And it's also amazing to see where we come from yesterday to today. And we're on such a cutting edge of technology. It's just amazing to get your hands on this new technology and use it. We've had a lot of young people come and learn about peanuts, and they actually had no clue. Miss Tammy King at the high school has been kind enough to allow me to go in her biology class, and I teach biotechnology to the kids. It's amazing the calls I get every week. Young people are really getting interested in growing a garden, or growing things. They're moving out into the country. They got 10 acres or 5 acres, and they want a cow, they want a calf, they want to plant stuff, and I'm just tickled pink to help them. It's the one thing I love to do. I mean, it's calls every day. What do we do here? What do we do there? First suggestion, go pull your soil sample. Use science whenever you can. I can't tell you what to do. We have a soil sample. Then we know where to go from there. We know what to put in the soil. We know how to get you started. That's the first thing we tell folks. Efficiency and effectiveness. You got to be efficient. You got to be effective.